What's up, Dadlift Nation? Let me know if that's cringy. I kind of like it, but it feels weird coming out of my mouth still. Probably because it's the second time I've used it. Anyway, I appreciate you joining us. If you caught Friday's training session, you noticed that I failed on my last rep at 410 on the novice linear progression. My original plan was just to attack it again today, but the what's the word I'm looking for? I haven't slept in like 3 days. Uh, Not good anyway. So I am not feeling the neural drive available to actually push 410 pounds right now. So what I'm going to do is just take this opportunity to transition into an intermediate programming. So we're going to be doing a little bit of reps and schemes that are coming from the Texas Method program. So instead of the 3 sets of 5, 3 sets of 3, and just adding 5 pounds, we're going to start adding 5 pounds once a week instead of once every other session like I've been doing. So what we're going to do is my last successful set of 5 was at 405. So we've got 365 on the bar. That's 90% of my last successful, 5 rep max. We're going to take this for 5 sets of 5. What you're doing here is you're lowering the weight and you're increasing the volume. Volume is king for driving muscle growth. So that's kind of what we're doing now that the novice progression is eased up. We have to get bigger muscles to continue to get them stronger. And increased volume is what is going to get those bigger muscles. So we're doing 5 by 5 instead of the 3 by 5. So we're doing 25 total reps instead of 15 total reps. So what's going to come with this is you have to pay attention to recovery. You have to make it a priority. It's not going to happen by accident. You have to focus on what you're eating, focus on sleeping. And associated with that extra volume is you're going to be sore. You're going to be more sore using the Texas method than you were during the beginner novice linear progression. So this is for a program more for like strength athletes or football players in their off season. Don't be doing this if you're trying to, if you're in the middle of rugby season and you have games that you're playing where you have to be at peak performance, because what's going to happen is this is the Texas method is going to eat up all of your bandwidth and recovery potential, and you're going to suffer at your primary sport. So this is, like I said, off season, or if you're a dedicated strength athlete. Otherwise, there's a heavy, light, medium program in the gray book that you should check out, and we might get more into that later. But I've been talking a lot, so let's get into it. This is going to be my first set of 5 at 365. That felt pretty good. Also, big news. Friday when we logged off, I had 86 subscribers on the channel. Was looking forward to huge, well, not huge, but a celebration, a recognition of the 100 subscriber milestone. Long story short, I kind of turned it off on Friday and logged back in before bed last night, and we were up to 120 subscribers. So we got about 34 over the weekend, which is fantastic. Thank you all so much for sticking around and just watching my goofy ass. I really can't tell you how much I appreciate y'all. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Whew! And you know what? Celebrating the milestone, it seemed like a good time to transition to the intermediate type programming anyhow. So just went hand in hand, and it interlocked well with where I was in the training session, and the timing just seemed right. So you guys are awesome. Thank you. Another thing you're going to notice when you start moving to intermediate programming is these are still very heavy weights, right? It's 90% of what I was working with. So it's still in that high neural unit recruitment range, but you're doing almost double the volume, right? So at the end of your NLP programs, you were probably spending 45 minutes in the gym, right? Assuming you were getting adequate rest. These are going to take longer, especially Monday in Texas method. Monday's probably going to take an hour and 15 minutes because it's 5 sets of squats, 5 sets of bench, and then I'm going to be doing power clean, which power clean should be going pretty quick, but you're doing 3 to 5 minutes of rest between each set here with these heavy weights. Like those additional sets are going to accumulate and add time to your overall training plan. So Mondays, you have to be really deliberate about when you book your training session. And then Wednesday is going to be a lighter day. It's very similar to the skill work I've been doing Wednesdays prior. So that entire session should take 20 or 30 minutes still. And then Friday is the intensity day. So it's new heavy set of 5 on squat, new heavy set of 5 on the bench, and then a heavy set of 5 on the deadlift. Deadlift should be on Friday as programmed, but I actually kind of like deadlifting on my light squat days. So I am personally going to keep the Wednesday deadlift session and try to work on my snatch on Friday still. We'll see. It sounds good on paper. I might still be really sore on Wednesday based on the extra volume I've accumulated today. So deadlifting on Wednesday sounds good. I might actually need the extra couple days of recovery. We'll just see, but you'll find out day after tomorrow, right? So we're good. Let's do set number 2 here. So it is kind of a bummer. I am moving this weekend. So I am switching to an intermediate program this week, but probably starting next week, I'm going to be doing something entirely off script. I am not going to have access to my squat rack for the foreseeable future as it's going into storage. So really all I can do is I'm going to have my barbell and my weights, but I'm only going to be able to do stuff that I can pull from the floor, right? So I am not going to be power cleaning 400 pounds up and getting it onto my shoulders for squat work. It's just not going to happen. So I am going to put more focus into my deadlift in the coming months and probably get more practice with the power clean and the power snatch because I can do those all from the floor. And then I can still, from a pressing motion, I can still do the overhead press because I can power clean, you know, more than I can press. So I'm at least good on that for a while. And maybe I'll play around with the bench. I call it the goob press. I don't know if it has an official name, but there's a guy on Instagram who basically calls out influencers for using Photoshop. But he basically just deadlifts the weight off the floor, sits on a bench, and then rolls it up, and then starts benching from that without the need of the uprights. So probably pretty dangerous, but you're not using maximal weights with it either if you can scoot it up your body. So maybe we'll goob press for a little while and see how high we can get that one. Set number 3. This is where these 5x5s kind of suck because this would be my last set of squats normally. That said, on the other hand, those squats would be about 45 pounds heavier. So, you know, you give a little, you take a little. Oh, but it is nice to be done a little quicker. Four, 5, come on. Still heavy in the hole, I'll tell you that much. So there's a intermediate program I ran, oh man, probably 10 years ago. It was, 2013 or 2014, 2015, when I was in Iraq. It was called Building the Monolith. And it was a very similar programming to a Texas method using 5 sets of 5. But instead of the power clean at the end, basically what it did is you had your 5x5 on squats, 5x5 on bench, but it also threw in like 100 chin-ups on Monday and 100 face pulls on Monday as well. So that lasted like 90 minutes to 2 hours. At one point I was supersetting squats with chins just to get through it, but that one was rough. And then instead of the heavy maximum set of 5 on Friday, they had you do a set of 20. And I don't know if you've ever done a set of 20 on squats, but it changes you. I tell you what, it is a significant emotional event. Wouldn't recommend it unless you are up against the wall and if you've been stalling out for a long time and you're eating right and you're sleeping and you're just still not making gains, you can force through some of those plateaus sometimes by implementing like 20 rep squat once a week. And like I said, it'll hurt your feelings, but it helps. What are some other crazy programs I've done? So I did Smolov probably about that time too, because I was just trying to find something, get more volume on squats. And I think Smolov has you squatting 3 or 4 days a week. It's like, yeah, you're squatting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And it is a shit ton of volume. And I remember just being crippled. And that was when my squat max was like 315. So there were definitely better uses of my time. I actually don't really recommend Smolov for anyone, because if you can do all the reps, then you probably could have been using heavier weights in another program. Or, you know, at my point, the weights I can squat are so heavy that if I'm doing 4 days a week, it's just, I can't recover. So there's, I don't know that there's anybody who is going to be running through the Smolov squat program successfully unless they are taking some advanced supplements, if you catch my drift. Not to say that they're not out there, but I think probably my statement is a good one for 95% of people. Because that's the whole point of steroids, right? They don't make you stronger on their own. They help your body recover faster. So you're basically able to keep adding intensity week after week after week, when somebody who was not on the juice would get injured, break down, or have to rest. So that's basically what the anabolics do, is they up your recovery, among other things that are less ideal. Creatine and steaks for me, personally. But I'm sure you can see, look at me. I look like a guy who just does creatine and steak, right? Nobody's posting max Dadlift on the Natty or Not subreddit. We all know, I'm the natty daddy. I might have to cut that part out. Two more. So believe it or not, when you do the low bar squat, it's different than the high bar squat in that it loads the musculature of the hips much more efficiently. So you're able to recruit your hamstrings, your glutes, and a little bit of your lower back, but really your back is just kind of maintaining stiffness. It's not actually contributing to the lift. It's just, you know, keeping tight so you can transfer force from your legs to the barbell through your torso. But the low bar position allows you to have a more horizontal back angle, which lets you load, like I said, your glutes, your hamstrings, and the groin musculature. So after a heavy day of squats, what I notice is that my soreness is not in my quadriceps like you would think from a squat, right? It's actually right here in the hip adductors. Is that ab or ad? The opposite of the bad girl machine. So the one that brings your legs in this way. That's where all my soreness is. So yeah, that's just kind of one of the unexpected things that you're like, why the hell am I sore in the groin area? And it's from squats. If you're doing them a low bar squat properly. Very rarely get muscle soreness in my quads. I'm hoping I can bench. My elbows aren't feeling as bad as they have been. One, it's about 65 degrees instead of 25 degrees. So it's 40 degrees and warmer in the gym than it was last week. But I think that the weight on the barbell being lowered is also helping prevent some of that just inflammation that I got going on in those joints. I want to bench press today. I'm going to try. We'll just see how that goes. I'm only planning on doing 5x5 by 225. So hopefully that is not it's not getting too greedy. Shouldn't be. It's not that much weight. Two more. Five by five. 3. Let's try that again. Woo! All right, so that's 2. We're gonna try to get this rep. There we go. That's 1 of 5. This might be exciting. So I think I'm rushing through these reps. If I understand the power clean correctly, the bottom half of the movement doesn't have to be fast. So basically you just approach it like a deadlift until you come to about a third of the way up to the middle of your thigh. Somewhere in there is like the trigger area. And once the barbell crosses your thigh, that's when you accelerate the bar up. I think the reps that I missed, I tried to accelerate from the ground. Probably threw off my bar path, made the bar come forward, and cost me the rep. So I will try to be more disciplined in the slower first half of the movement, accompanied by an explosive second half. Whew. That's 2. These would also probably be a lot easier if I could squat under the bar quickly. I don't know if my athleticism is up to par on this, so I have to get the bar higher than I otherwise would have if I was just quicker and could drop down into the front squat position to catch it. I'm slow, so I have to pull the bar higher to give myself that room. So that's probably the limiting factor so far. I also caught the barbell in an awkward position last week, and I think I bruised my ribs doing it. Believe it or not, I'm still a little tender, but yeah, like last week, like I think I lost 2 nights of sleep just because it hurt every time I moved. Obviously, I felt better by Wednesday, but I think I'm catching the bar with my chest instead of my hands in the rack position, which is aggravating that. So there's a lot to work on here. Rolling away from me. 3. 4. All right, well, that's today's workout. Join me on Wednesday for some light squats, some overhead press, and I think we're gonna do 540 on the deadlift. So should be exciting time. But once again, we hit 120 subscribers today. Super thrilled about that. Thank you for joining along, because I didn't do that, you guys did it. So once again, thank you. I'm touched. Hope you enjoyed the workout. Hope you're getting swole yourself, and we'll catch you next time.